let's talk a little bit about technology stocks themselves. I mean, there's beginning to be a feeling that possibly some of the big names in the technology sector are no longer horribly overvalued, but actively undervalued.
We actually disagree with that hypothesis. I think the way to think about this is, of course, on a selective basis. If we are only referring to the company that we have in the fund, and we do believe that the valuation is extremely attractive. But on the other hand, I think if you look at the wider market in terms of names that used to be trading at a higher valuation and now trading at a lower valuation, but then the outlook is a lot more uncertain. So in our context, our investable universe have actually shrunk rather than has broadened out in terms of digital transformation. So I think there are a few things that we have done since late last year. Is that we have exited all the FANGs like Amazon, Facebook, or even Alphabet, Google recently. But those names used to be quite big holdings in the fund, and I think something have changed for them in the next 5 years.
So would you say that the digital transformation that you've been talking about for so long, and this is the big theme of the fund for the first, 4 or 5 years, is that complete, that digital transformation, or is it just overpriced?
I think I give this example, which is Google, that we exited recently. It's interesting that when we go back 5 years ago, in terms of the advertising dollar split, it's about 1/3 in digital media and then 2/3 in traditional media, which is TV and print. And five years forward to today, that split have changed. So basically now it's about 2/3 in digital media and then 1/3 in traditional media. And I think if you then think about what is the next leg for the digital transformation within the digital advertising space, it's more difficult to win, to get to from 70% to 80% unless you believe that the traditional media is just going to disappear completely, which we know is not going to happen. And so the low-hanging fruit in terms of how Google managed to capture the market share in the last 5 years, I think that's pretty much done. And I think going forward, what we're saying is digital transformation would continue, but the outperformance profile for some of these companies would be very different to the last 5 years. So they will still do pretty well, but at the same time, I think if we consider a recession in Europe or maybe in Asia Pacific, outside of North America, you probably don't want to be exposed to advertising stream, and that's where Google sits.